Today's Monday, August 3rd, 2026. Summer's, I guess, officially half over, right? Kids go back to school in a month. College athletes return to campus in roughly a month as well. And this weekend, I had the opportunity to do a talk at a local library. And in the middle of the conversation, we were discussing, like mundane tasks and boring activities that we do in our day-to-day that compounded over a long period of time essentially turn out to really help us in whatever goal or something that we're striving for or trying to achieve. And I've talked about Dan Chambliss quite a bit, but the question about doing the mundane came from somebody that was logged in via a Zoom. And I thought it was interesting because they asked about how much is too much, and is there ever too much of doing something? And I started thinking about it, and I was going to go into the direction of Anders Ericsson, and then I thought, that's probably not the best for this audience, the best course of action. But what I discussed, and this was something I was talking to Tim Miller about yesterday, was the quality of the practice. And I know Anders Ericsson and Angela Duckworth talked about deliberate practice and being very purposeful. And I tried talking more about having a focus and an intention for every practice, and having that be the main emphasis, either for one training session, 2 training sessions, a week's worth of training sessions, and what have you. And I think it's really interesting that when put together, when we have an intention of what the focus is, the quality gets better, because we're not just going through the motions, and we're not just practicing for the sake of practicing. We're actually there to accomplish something and work towards something. And that's what I really elaborated on. I mean, it was probably like 2 minutes of the whole conversation. But really just thinking about what the intention is of our practice, and throughout that practice, how we talk to ourselves and what that internal dialogue is like. We set an intention for the week. I'm going to focus on, building a comfortable rhythm for 3 turns in the hammer, let's say, if that's what the focus is. And then the intention of that is, okay, I'm going to build rhythm, and I'm going to try and figure out if this is too fast, this is too slow, what works, what doesn't work, etc. And then the dialogue surrounding that is just as important, it's just as critical. How do I talk to myself in the middle of these reps? If the first one doesn't go as well, do I get fixated on that? Or do I put my emphasis on, well, I got 2 out of 3 turns were great, or I didn't fall out of the circle, but my rhythm was still really choppy? And those are really critical drivers, and something that I'm going to be focused on this year with my group. We got a huge group of throwers that I'm really excited to work with. That what we're going to be purposeful for our intention. What's the intention for the week? What do we really want to emphasize moving forward? And then how do we talk to ourselves in the middle of that training session? What's that internal dialogue like? How nice are we to ourselves, right? Like if I pull my athlete aside and say, hey, listen, that looked really horrible. I don't know what you were thinking or what happened, but you need to get your stuff together. I would never tell an athlete that. And the internal dialogue, why would you want to tell yourself that? If you don't want to hear it from a coach, and you don't obviously enjoy that type of criticism or feedback, however you want to look at it, why would you tell yourself those things. And I think that's something that we really don't take into consideration is just that. If our internal dialogue is something that we wouldn't want to hear from somebody else, why is it okay for us to have that internal dialogue then? Right? Why would I tell myself, geez, that was just horrible. I don't even know why I came to practice today. I wouldn't want to hear it from a coach or a teammate for that matter. But I'm going to tell myself that. That's something that we're going to be focusing on this season. And I think that's a wrap here for Monday, August 3rd, 2026.